Hello, precious domain family. How are you? Happy Friday. It is Friday. I just had to think that through. Hope you are all really well, and welcome to episode 14 of Domain TV. And what we wanted to do today is share, as ever, some profound, beautiful, enlightening, wondrous, incredible experiences that have been occurring amongst the domain community this week. And the first thing I also just wanted to say is, if some of you are listening into these lives, whether this is now or in the future, I just kind of want to reiterate that domain is for everyone. And so although it might potentially sound a little bit like, whoa, okay, that feels really leading edge, working with an energy holding beyond our multiverses, like that could potentially sound, if you go up into your head and think a bit, like it's tricky, but it's not. Everyone can do it. And so I'm really passionate about helping as many people as I can to tap into domain and use it, because even as you're about to hear today, when we talk about some of the experiences this week, it's so wondrous what it can show you. And I think in the past, I can't speak for others, but for me, myself, I used to see people that would receive leading edge insight, whether it's non-physically or, however they were doing it, people that are receiving from non-physical guides and that type of thing. Even people like Esther Hicks, I used to see her and think, gosh, she's really lucky that she can do that. I'll never be able to do that. But the truth is, everyone can do this, and it's definitely very much connected to where we are in our evolution and progression as humans on Earth, but humans within a much greater and vaster multiverse and multiverses. And so this is really accessible to everyone. And this is why when I've written the book, Our World, What Comes Next, I've written it in a way, that's high level. So I've had so many of you say you love the fact that the words, and lines and things are spaced out. It's not really heavy and complex, because that actually doesn't serve you. My passion is to help you read the book, get a high level understanding of domain and start using it. And that's why the book also has energetics placed within it to support you and your journey with domain. And so when you're going to listen shortly to some of the experiences that have occurred this week, this is possible for all of you. And so if you've read the book and you're wanting some help, then obviously you may or may already not know, because I only announced them, I think, this time last week. I'm now offering beautiful one-to-ones, which are 6-week runs where you can work with myself directly Monday to Friday in such a beautiful, loving, nurturing space where you can explore and voyage domain and become really confident and feel really assured in what you're receiving, and explore the areas that you want to explore, because there's so many different beautiful facets and aspects to it. It's, you're never going to get bored with domain. It's literally so beautiful. And so just know that the book's here to help you. The beautiful one-to-ones through the School of Domain Energetics are here to help you. Plus there'll be more to come. It's not just going to be the beautiful one-to-ones. Of course there will be more that come. But right here, right now, we're just really wanting to help to empower every single person that gets exposed to domain or comes across domain to get going with it, because it's not hard, it's beautiful, and you can do it. So I'm here very much to empower and nurture you, because imagine a world full of people that can tap into domain and what it can do, and the beauty that can bring into your everyday life, into their everyday lives, into the world. It's just so exciting. So don't ever listen to these Domain TV episodes or any of the social media that I share, or even read the book, and for 1 second think you can't do this. You can, and I am committed to and passionate about helping you to do it. And so as we're sort of in 2025 now, and we're widening our awareness of domain over time, even if you've done no energetic work that you're aware of, because often you have without realising, but if you have done no energetic work that you're aware of, you can do this. I promise you. And I flipping love it. And it will be an honour to help you, whether it's through the book, through working with me, through the School of Domain Energetics, however it is. feel excited, because I know I used to read things like Ask and It's Given and think, oh my God, I wish I could do what it is that Esther does. And obviously I'm not doing exactly what she does, because we're all here to do different things, but I would never have dreamt, well, I would have dreamt, but I never would have thought 10 years ago, as an example, that it would be possible for me to do what I'm doing now. And for you guys, it so is, and it can be really quick and really easy. So feel ease, feel inspired, and feel hope. So that's the first thing that we wanted to say. And that's why we always say throughout the book, throughout so often when we're online, domain is for all. It's for all. It's not just for certain people who can receive well. Now, of course, we all want to increase our vibration to help us to receive well, so we can trust what we're receiving, but everybody can learn how to do it. That's probably the right thing to say. It's not just for a select few. Everyone can learn how to do it. And so I'm here to empower every single one of you, and be excited, because gosh, if I had read books in the past and realised that I could actually do stuff like that, it would have been so exciting. And so when you've got this incredible book in your hands, be like, oh my gosh, this is going to be the book that helps me to do this. It's so exciting. So that's the first thing I wanted to say. And so then moving on to sharing some of our experiences this week. So for me, myself, I haven't actually proactively done loads with domain for me personally. There's been lots going on in the background for me. But what did happen yesterday, and there's so much goodness to share, is that within the Pathway to Thrive community, so Pathway to Thrive is a Facebook group for anyone that's worked with me around domain energetics, okay? So any kind of personal work with me. Over time, I'm being guided that might open up and flourish out a bit more to people that have a copy of the book. I'm being told as I'm speaking live, so I'm trusting that as well. But what it is it's a space for people that are consciously aware of domain and have been consciously energizing it. And so the reason it's set up in that way at the moment is because if you can imagine it, anyone that's proactively working with domain, that becomes a powerhouse place of people that are learning you, discovering you. Obviously, all of the domain leaders are in there as well. Those precious souls that spent the first 12 months with me, all of us exploring and voyaging domain. Those precious souls that have worked with me through the School of Domain Energetics so far. If you think about the energy in that group, that space, it's awesome. And so within that group yesterday, we did a live Zoom session. It was instigated by Kerry Keith, who's one of the precious domain leaders who has a passion about coral reefs. And we explored what domain can do to help and support coral reefs. And it was beautiful. There was so much that happened on the session. It was about an hour long. There were, I think, about 5 of us on there in total. Others within the Pathway to Thrive group can also watch the replay and share any insights that they're getting as well, and any sequencing that they're getting. But it was so wondrous in terms of the sequencing that we were getting, in terms of what we were being shown for the future, in terms of what we were being shown across the multiverse, in terms of being shown stuff from history as well. It was amazing. And this is how domain works. So maybe when the time's right, we'll do a Zoom session around receiving sequencing from domain that we share here as well, just so you can see what it's like to work with domain in a group format. Because working with domain for yourself is incredible. We always say start with you, start with like using domain for you. And then if it feels good to you and you want to join a group of people working with domain for a particular thing or cause, that's such an incredible experience as well. So we always say domain is about togetherness, but in a way that feels really good to you. And not everyone will be lit up by coral reefs. All of us are completely different and have our individual passions, and that's fine as well, and by perfect design, as you would have read about in the book if you've read the domain book as well. But on this session yesterday around coral reefs, what we saw and understood was amazing. So again, I'll share more kind of specifically some of the things that really were beautiful for me and that I saw as well, just to share and showcase again the variety and diversity of what domain can show you just in having one interaction with it. So one thing that was amazing was being shown that to help coral reefs on Earth, because our energies are so expanded now with Domain, those of us that have been working with it for a while, we were able to take sequence mapping. And so sequence mapping is spoken about in the Domain book. It's a way that God creates, and it can be used non-physically to create universes and multiverses and planets. It's amazing, sequence mapping. When I first received about it and wrote it in the book, I was like, whoa. I talk about it now in quite a matter-of-fact way because I've managed to get my head around it, but it's beautiful. And I had written in the Domain book, for those of you that have had read it and have read it so far, that when the time becomes right, sequence mapping would be used on Earth. It's not something that's for every day, but it is something that's amazing. But what we understood yesterday was, Belle, no, darling. Sorry, I think there might be someone at the door. No. I don't think there's someone at the door. Come here. Ooh. For those of you that don't know, this is Belle, who often sits next to me when I do these episodes. Normally sleeping, but you can hear some stuff going on outside, can't you? So yeah, what we were understanding was that sequence mapping was being used, and how that works was Domain was taking sequencing from another coral reef on another planet in another universe. And again, just take a moment if you're listening to this and you're like, hold up, you just said another coral reef in another universe. Yes, these are some of the horizons that Domain can open up for you and all of us, because we're part of a multiverse, we're part of multiverses, and we're here to participate consciously and interact and explore. Why would we not want to explore? If you think about the fact we've explored so much of our Earth, there have been explorers that have been exploring. We have gone beyond our Earth. We have been exploring other parts of the universe and beyond as far as we're able to. But Domain and your energy are able to see beyond where we've been able to get to so far physically as physical humans. And so sequence mapping was occurring. Hi, Kerry Gart, darling. I'm just sharing about our session yesterday. Sequence mapping was being taken from other coral reefs in another universe and being shared and applied to the coral reefs here on Earth. And that isn't something that's just happened overnight. So it's not something that's been like that. Obviously, if you think about it, we've been working with Domain for a good few months now, like coming up to a year and a half. It's been something that we've been building to energetically. And so this was really wondrous. And what we were also understanding on this session is that actually, and this is the thing, Domain will show you into the future as well. It's incredible all the different things it shows you. It was showing us how our coral reefs, as they restore now over time through more and more of us working with energetics and of course Domain, our coral reefs can go beyond where they ever went beyond before. So think about it. If we're humans and we're evolving and progressing all of the time, so is all of our planet. So are things like coral reefs. And again, this can feel quite big if you're new to it, but this is just what we've continued to understand. So what we were getting glimpses of, coral reefs in the future, probably beyond our physical lifetimes, I'm being told, but being so much more evolved and advanced than where they'd ever got to before. And we were being shown such vivid colours. It was fascinating. It was so stunning. And what this also showed us was how, as we know with Domain, we can take sequencing from other parts of the multiverse to help us here on Earth. But that can also be shared like in the opposite direction as well when the time's right. Other planets will be able to use sequencing from Earth to support them. But you start to open up this network of sequence sharing and communication amongst different planets and universes and multiverses. And what was the other thing we were being shown? We were being shown myriad hotspots within other universes as well. And it was just so wondrous. And as one of the precious souls on the call was saying, she's, we were all receiving these incredible things. And she's like, and none of us are raising our eyebrows or doubting. We all know what we're receiving is true, even though it's beyond our conscious awareness. And this is what Domain does. It just opens up possibilities, but your awareness, your horizons, your perspectives. Like, imagine living your day to day like I'm doing today, knowing that I was taking sequencing from another coral reef on another planet in another universe. And that has helped with the others that were on the call as well, our coral reefs on Earth, and how over time our coral reefs are going to go beyond where we've ever seen them before. Because this is the other thing about Domain, it's about new creation. And so you can create new in coral reefs on Earth from sequencing that Domain shares with you from other parts of the universe, or it could be even history and that type of thing as well. And so again, if we're creating new, imagine the possibilities. But Domain always works in a way that's harmonious for all. So when we're creating new a domain, it's not going to offset the balance elsewhere. It's always going to work in a way that's harmonious. That's the way it works. It's here to help us all to thrive. So it was really beautiful, and we were all kind of feeling, again, as we always do with Domain, this is just part and parcel of it, we were all feeling those flows of love from Domain, the hope for the future. We were also being shown as well, and again this connects right back into everything I've written about in the book, Domain being used in the community, so for your communities and local surroundings. Imagine those living near coral reefs that are needing regenerating. Imagine communities there, because it's their area that they live, working with Domain and flowing energetics to help those areas to thrive. And this is what really excites me as well in the future, is different communities around the world working with Domain to help their communities and areas to thrive. And communities, we're talking about animals and nature and humans, okay? And so again, being shown that and feeling the evidence and the tangibility of it, that is what will occur more and more over time as Domain becomes more and more known about, Domain and its wondrous and beautiful energetics. And so it really is, again, just showing us how we can take our energy further than we've ever taken it before. And all of us can do this once we're kind of up and running with Domain and using our energy with it, and our energies will keep expanding. And the more that work with Domain, the more our energies will expand. It's just beautiful, okay? So again, we talk about taking our Earth to utopias living in the book. This is part of it. It's just so beautiful, and utopias living in a multiversal stance as well over time as well, for those that are excited by the notion of that too. And so what else did I want to say? So just on that session alone, there were so many other things that we received as well, but just that you're taking sequencing to do something incredible with Domain that you're passionate about. In the process, you're getting this kind of awe-inspiring and jaw-dropping insight to what you can see. And the whole experience is so wondrous whilst you're working with others who love Domain and what we're talking about as well. So you've got that real gorgeous scrummy family and community energy, which is what we're here to be part of. I think sometimes we've lost our way a little bit. We can feel a bit isolated, but actually Domain is so much about togetherness, and just spending that time creating real kind of helping sequencing to change things for the way that's wanted and is harmonious for all, spending time with others that we love, and just getting this wondrous kind of insight. It's like this natural dopamine hit. I don't know much about dopamine consciously, but like when you work with Domain in the right way, you just feel awesome afterwards, and you are just knowing things that other normal humans don't yet know, not because we're better than them, but just because we're developing our energetic side, and we are using and working with Domain consciously, which everyone is able to do if they want to as well. And so, again, if you're kind of new to this, last week in episode 13, I did do some live sequence receiving around my throat. So if you want to have a look at kind of you receiving sequencing and how that would work if you're receiving it for yourself, have a watch of that. And then maybe over time, at the right time, we'll share a Zoom session here on this page, so that you can see how a group of people that are very pro-Essel with Domain, when they come together, what they can receive and do as well. It's really beautiful. But the thing is, it's always got to be in a way that lights you up and that you're passionate about. So we always kind of say, don't feel a sense of obligation with Domain. Use it in the ways that light you up. And, you know, those that were on the call yesterday and others that will be watching the replay within that Pathway to Thrive group will be the ones that are excited about coral reefs, but it doesn't matter if you aren't. There might be other things you're excited about, or you may just want to use domain just for you. Use it in whatever way lights you up, because that's when you have the best experiences with it, the most fun with it, the most wonder with it, and you have the most incredible energetic output with it in terms of what you can change and create with sequencing also. And to just kind of consider other, you know, multiversal myriad hotspots. And further down the line, that kind of co-create. I'm being told it and shown it, so I'm going to share it. I know it's out there and not everyone's ready to hear this, but there are a lot of people that are ready to hear this. But over time, other humans in other universes, us all energetically, because we can't physically get to each other, but energetically through our energetic sides, working together, leveraging domain, the sharing and cross-sharing, if you like, of just opportunity for new creation in such a beautiful way. It's so exciting. But some of you may not want to do that. Some of you are like, I just want to use domain to feel really good and awesome in my day-to-day, and that's cool as well. But this is the thing. Domain brings amazing new possibilities to humans and Earth. That's literally what's written on the cover of the book. So this truly is enlightened and expanding living. And that's what we really wanted to share today. Just an example of how, it's beautiful to come together with others that love domain. And this is why we're passionate about building a domain community, and that, you know, our social media and just people that are loving domain, and those that want to flow through the school of domain energetics, and those that want to be in Pathway to Thrive. It's like bringing those together. Those that want to come to the domain event in August in Alfriston here in the UK, it is about just coming together, exploring, delighting in domain, as we always say. And so this is just one example of what we've been up to this week, and how our eyes have been really opened, and how we've all come away just being like, oh gosh, the future on our Earth is so exciting, and we are truly alive at the best time, because we get to experience this. We get to work with domain and then bring these incredible new possibilities and opportunities to our Earth. And imagine over time more and more communities and humans in those communities working with domain to help their surroundings. And again, this is something else I've written about in the domain book, when I was receiving sequencing to help the cornfields opposite my house. And, you know, if I had not experienced that firsthand, I would have thought, if I was listening to someone else say that they were off their rocker. But when you experience these things firsthand yourself, you're like, wow. And then you really feel a connection to Earth and Sali and our multiverses and beyond. You feel it because you're seeing it and being shown it over and over again from domain, and you're seeing the evidence and change that occurs as well. It's so flipping exciting. So domain is all about bringing on and opening up the wonder, especially for those of us that have always known there's more out there, or want to explore more out there. Bear with me, I think Belle wants to go out. Go on. We've always kind of known there's more out there, and we've always been wanting to know more. And, you know, domain, as we've said before, can take sequencing not just from other places in the multiverse, potentially places on Earth that we can't physically reach, but also backwards in time. But again, even in the book, we talked about domain working with sequencing past, present and future, and this is what we were kind of being shown yesterday with the reefs, like the future of the reefs. It's just mind-blowingly beautiful. And at the minute, there's just a few of us, if you think about it, and the size of this community currently, there's just a few of us that are using domain. But imagine as awareness now spreads, the joy in that. And so actually, as we move through this year, there's already some interviews I've got lined up and speaking at events. All of these things are starting to occur because it's time to spread awareness about domain. Of course, we've got our precious domain leaders who are shining a light on domain and sharing and showcasing as well. We've got those of you that have just been loving the book or loving like the domain immersion I've experienced, who are just loving it and talking about it as well. Like, the message is going to get out now. And so actually at this time, you precious souls are so treasured, because now awareness will start to build. So it's really exciting, and that's why we are committed to and love showing up every Friday to do an episode of Domain TV, show you what we've discovered, update you with what's been going on in the community, answer any questions that you guys might have. Like, we're just going to keep talking about it and sharing it, because I think for some people as well, because energetics can be a new concept for many, not for all, but they can be. It's like to keep kind of hearing the evidence that we're showcasing and sharing week on week will help to build that belief as well. Because come to Domain with belief, hope and love, as we've said before, and the evidence will ensue. So it's such a beautiful time to live. So thank you as always for being here. This is what we wanted to talk about today. And just to bring this session to a close, just to share, if you're listening, whether it's now or in the future and you're new, this is the perfect place to start. This book, you can find details on my website, sarahmorganglobal.com. This is the place to begin your journey with Domain Energetics. If you're wanting to do any work with me directly, the beautiful one-to-ones that are available on my website are currently the perfect place to go for this really beautiful one-to-one time with me. And also, if you're wanting to physically meet others that are part of this beautiful widening Domain family and community now, then we've got our wonderful, exciting and delicious event that's going to be happening in Alfriston on the 6th of August this year, in Alfriston where I live, currently snowy Alfriston. So there's just so much beauty here, and so there's so much to look forward to. Stay close, share your experiences, feel empowered, know that you can. I know that some of what I've just shared could be quite mind-blowing. You know, I'm not a scientist, I'm not trained in any of those things. I used to love geography, but I'm not someone that's sciencey and have gone out and studied. Again, just to showcase how accessible this is, I'm just someone that's developed my energetic side so that I can receive from Domain, and I am now learning things beyond what other people are learning, and they can learn it too if they too develop their energetic side. Just to be clear, it's not about me being better than them, it's never about that. It's just about, if you develop your energetic side with Domain, you can see things that go beyond what we've come to understand so far, and what a beautiful way to live. And then you benefit from what you're being shown in your day-to-day as well. So these are just part of the highs and wonders and beauty of Domain. So thank you as always for listening in. This is this week's episode now coming to a close. We will see you again, same time next week for episode 15. Thank you for being here. You're awesome. We love you so much. Keep believing, keep exploring, keep knowing that you can, keep delighting. We're right here with you, and come join our Domain community and family. We love you so, so, so much. See you next Friday. Mwah.